Hey guys, I'm sorry that I couldn't get my Zoom to work. Apparently the internet is back working, but I'm still having trouble with Zoom. So please watch these videos. If you have any questions, email me about it and or bring them to my attention next class. But I'm going to try my best. What I was going to teach you guys in class is going to now be in video. So our first one that we were dealing with was our warm-up. It says, here is a graph that represents function f, which gives the height of a drone in meters t seconds after it leaves the ground. It says decide which function value is greater. So remember, when we're looking at a function, right, what goes inside the parentheses is our input. This entire thing is our output. So our input is our x value, and our output is our y value. So we're looking for our y value when given our x value. So if we're looking here, it says f of 0. So that's looking at where is my x 0? Well, here's x is 0, so f of x equals 0 because it's at 0, 0. F of 4, this didn't have any measurements on here, but we can just make anything up. So I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4. F of 4 says go to our x value of 4, go up to the line, and that tells us our f of 4, which is our y value, equals 4. Well, if that's the case, we know 4 is greater than 0, so we would say f of 4 is greater. Now, if we're looking at the second one, f of 2, so f of 2, here's my x value of 2. If I go up, okay, that equals 4. And f of 5, if I go up, that also equals 4. So these are the same. They are equal to each other. Okay. The third one, f of 3, go up here, that's also 4. And f of 7, when x is 7, y is 0. So we could say f of 3 is greater because our output 4 is greater than 0. Last one is f of t or f of t plus 1. In this case, okay, it depends on what it is. This depends on the value of t, okay? If it was, let's say t equals, well, we can actually kind of say this, right? It depends. We can use that based off of all this information here. Sometimes it's the same. Sometimes we have one that's greater than the other. It all depends on what our value of t is, okay? So that's our warm-up. That's understanding how to read functions on a graph, okay? We're going to get into smartphones next, right? It says the function p gives the number of people in millions who own a smartphone t years after the year 2000. So remember, when we write this in sentence form, our dependent comes before our independent, okay? So that means this t is our independent, and the number of people is our dependent. And our dependent is our y, and our independent is our x, okay? So if we're looking here, my independent is my 17. That's the number of years after the year 2000. So we're talking about in the year 2017. It says, what does each equation tell us about the smartphone ownership? So P of 17 equals 2,320. That means 17 years after the year 2000, so 2017, 2,320 million, which is the same thing as 2.32 billion people owned a smartphone. Okay? So that's how we are taking this function notation and writing it into words. So when it says P of negative 10 equals 0, well, if we are negative 10 years after the year 2000, that means we're actually before the year 2000 by 10 years. So in 1990, that 0 tells us no one had smartphones. Smartphones didn't exist in 1990.